Good morning. It is Wednesday, the 13th of October. I was thinking this morning, arising out of the morning readings of morning prayer, about the aspect of friendship. With whom are we friends? And especially the friendship that we might have with those who are powerful and elite, who have authority over us, perhaps those in the judiciary or those who are politicians, or even those who have lots of money and are wealthy, influential in society. And it occurred to me that very often we're attracted in our desire for friendship with those people because we feel that we can get something from them. And yet that's not always true. I'm not saying we mustn't be friendly with them. We need to be willing to be friendly with anybody and everybody who comes before us, but let's not give a special level of friendship to those who are powerful and influential, because I suspect that your understanding of the friendship, your desire in that relationship, is not quite their understanding and their desire for friendship. The example from Jeremiah chapter 37 is to do with this prophet Jeremiah, one of the great prophets, a man whose words and writings I enjoy reading, and he's there at the cusp of the fall of Jerusalem to Babylon. And he does speak uncomfortable words, speaking truth to power, which of course makes him a little unpopular. But he's unpopular not just because he's making this up, but because he's speaking the truth. And I said yesterday that we need to speak the truth in love and with gentleness, but we must speak the truth. But we must understand that the friendship with those around us may not be, as I've described already, at the same level. And so the example for Jeremiah is that he speaks the truth. He's the prophet, he's famous, he's well known. And whenever the king has a decision, he calls for Jeremiah and says, what do I do? Do I go left? Do I go right? Do I stay where I am? What is the future? What are the words of advice from God? And of course, the other kings, if you can remember them, Jehoiakim and Jehoiachin, the son of Jehoiakim, and now Zedekiah. And so they asked Jeremiah for his input and his help. But yet he's not treated with any great deference or respect. And so many of the prophets of the Old Testament were stoned and ridiculed. And although their words usually were always vindicated, they were not treated with any degree of love, except if the king needed some advice. And Jeremiah finds himself in exactly that situation. One day he desires to leave Jerusalem. Scripture's a little unclear as to, except to say that he needed to go back to his hometown to lay claim to the property that was his. Was it a legal requirement? Was he running away because he knew that Jerusalem was going to fall? There's no indication that God told him to leave. Either way, he doesn't leave. He gets to the gate, and the guard on duty grabs him and throws him into a dungeon, a deep, dark pit somewhere. And there he languishes in turmoil and uncomfortableness until the king decides that he needs some more advice from Jeremiah. So he brings him up and he says, give me advice. I mean, how ridiculous is that for the king? Who does he think he is? And Jeremiah is learning this tough lesson of, if he ever thought that he was friends with the king or had some kind of relationship or had the ear of the king, it's been proved that he didn't. So the king calls him in and asks for advice, and Jeremiah says, well, this is what God told me. This is what's going to happen. And then he says, but king, why am I being treated in this dastardly fashion? And so the king, interestingly, doesn't release him from captivity, simply moves him, as it were, from one jail to the other. From a deep, dark dungeon, he's now put into the military barracks, as it were, the courtyard of the guards. Scripture describes it. And there he stays until, well, we don't know. You'll have to come back and find out how long he stays there for. But it's told that he will stay there and eat bread every day until all the bread in Jerusalem is finished. So it's not very pleasant. In our relationship, be cautious with who we are friends. Don't think that your friendship with those that are powerful and elite will get you any special favors, because their understanding of that friendship is going to be different to yours. But be friendly with anyone and everyone, but don't expect too much from that friendship. Folks, have a wonderful day. We'll chat again tomorrow. God bless.